What's happening, my people? You're here with JD Trades, and we're going to have another morning outlook. But of course, it is a new week, so we are going to take a quick look at the weekly setup, the weekly candle, and of course, what price is currently doing. So last week, the dollar did close a doji candle, which is exactly what I expected. Now, I did expect it to close a bearish doji, but that's totally fine. A doji is a doji. It could potentially mean a sign of indecisiveness from price or a sign of potential reversal. Now, looking at the picture on the weekly, I'm just going to remind you the areas of liquidity, which is currently sitting above for the dollar. So preferably would like to see the dollar rise. Okay. The overall target is to take out that monthly swing high and potentially work deeper into this monthly imbalance. Now, let's just see if that does play out moving into the next coming weeks ahead. So far, we do have a weekly imbalance that has been created, like so. And with this, we may potentially see price come for last week's low before we potentially, of course, push up higher. Now, I would like to see that play out in a more ideal world, just so that for me, it makes more sense for us to get a potential expansive move to the upside. It's important to understand that price doesn't have to, of course, doesn't have to work into that imbalance. Okay, it doesn't have to. It's not necessary. Now, the picture that we are getting up here is very similar to the picture that we had over here. Okay, we had a push up, we had the imbalance left over, we had a slight doji-ish candle. With this picture, we did actually push up first, so we continued the move before price dipped down lower, and then we closed there. Then the next week, we had one more sweep of that weekly candles low right there before we started rallying up higher. So we may potentially get another potential picture like that forming. Now, whether we do push up first or down, that's where we kind of need price to formulate in the picture to build so that we can understand where price is most likely to head to. But I would like to see a pullback, of course, after getting that higher. I want to see a pullback and then a continuation, just really, really basic market structure. Now, looking at things from the daily perspective in the daily time frame, it doesn't give me the confidence to say, hey, this is going to come down or this is going to go up. In all honesty, guys, the daily doesn't tell me that. I'm just quickly going to put this to change the visibility to the weekly, just so that our charts are nice and crispy clear. So what is happening on the daily? So on the daily, we do have this daily imbalance here from last week that we did work into on Thursday. And off of the back of that, we had a small reaction to the upside. Now, this reaction could be the reaction or the rejection, sorry, to continue price to the upside. Now, as I discussed with you last week, I did say that I wanted to see price work deeper into the imbalance sitting below, but that's not what we got. And it is what it is, guys. We're not always going to get the exact same picture that we're looking for. Now, when we work ourselves down to the 4-hour time frame, taking a look at exactly what price is doing, I would like to see us potentially come down. The daily is showing me that we are going to rally up, but on the 4-hour, I'd like to see us come down. And I'm working off of the premise that we did break this higher low. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that price has to give us a lower low, but more than often, that's what we see happen when we are looking at price action. So we could potentially get a huge candle pushing up, leaving imbalance back on the 4-hour, which will, of course, take out these highs. Now, at the moment, the only thing that's really holding value or holding the picture up is on the 1-hour. Okay, so we can see that we did work into this hour candle on Friday. Okay, we rejected off at the back of that and we came down. We've pulled back up again. We've come down. And of course, this is where we're sitting today. Now, it doesn't mean that price can't potentially push up back into the 1-hour area, react from here, and then give us another leg to the downside. That is very, very, it can happen. I'm not going to say it's likely to happen, but we just need to look at the price action when we get into that area. Okay. So the main reason why I'm looking at this area is because it's given us evidence, okay, to show us that we may potentially get another rejection from there. Now, we use historical data to gain a better understanding of what may potentially happen in the future. Now, this doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. This is what's important. Okay, we are taking educated assumptions of what price may potentially do next. Now, on the flip side, as to why price may not potentially go in my favor, it's important for you to look at potentials for both sides of the picture. So if you are long, what's the picture for a short? If you are short, what's the picture for a long? So at the moment, we did take out that weekly low slash daily low, as I mentioned to you before, and price off of the back of that can actually rally. With price taking out that low, that could be all it's looking for before we potentially get another move to the upside. So I'll give you another example, like here. Okay, we did take out this 4-hour high low here. If I go back to the line chart, you can see we did take out this 4-hour high low, which created a high. So once we dipped here, we should have realistically had a pullback and then a continuation to the downside into this area here, which was what I was initially looking for. However, I understood what the picture on the weekly was showing us and also on the daily. We took out the liquidity here, then we took out this area, then we had one more swipe of the low, okay, with that 4-hour wick there. That was enough for price to give us that bullish intent to the upside, and that's fine. So we may potentially get that picture forming again. Cool. So let's take a look at price action and exactly what's been going on. So last week, the setup that I did give you guys for GBP USD did play out quite well. Okay. Now the entry was on the 5-minute, I believe. Okay. Right here inside this area here. That was the 5-minute entry. And price has continued to slip and slide throughout the rest of last week. Come Sunday, we had a slight bit of consolidation and now a continuation to the downside. Now, potentially, we need to look at things from the daily, from the weekly perspective. We are coming down for the pound dollar, which is exactly what we discussed, and it's not anything out of the ordinary. Now, this can keep dipping lower. We need to, of course, look at the weekly lows for potential targets. Now, on the daily, it's interesting to see how price might close today. Maybe tomorrow we get a pullback into this daily candle for some more potential shorts to the downside. Now, there are a couple of areas. There is this area here, and now there's this new area that is forming at the moment. So these areas can give us some potential setups. On the flip side, Euro USD is not giving us the dramatic move that the dollar is at the moment, and that's perfectly fine. Now, Euro USD is the exact same picture for the dollar, but flipped. I'd like to see us, of course, pull up higher before we get that short move. So we'll see if that plays out. But for the time being, Euro USD is quite muted. So let's take a look at this closer to New York and see if we do get a slide. Now, potentially, I do believe this is going to slide off of the back of the setup that we had last week. Now, ideally, I did want to see this actually take out this high first, which is the weekly pictures high, and then give us the short. But if price wants to slide from now, that's perfectly fine. Now, let's take a look at gold. Now, the gold move is playing out very, very well. I did say to you guys last week that we may potentially get price holding this hourly candle and giving us a new potential low. And with the price action that we had Friday, this is looking more and more likely with Sunday's opening with price pushing down. And today, we're also getting lower prices on gold for the time being. So the most immediate area will be this low here, which price may potentially reach to. If we take a look at things from the daily, try to find daily lows. We have taken out this daily low here at the moment. So the next area would be Monday the 15th daily low. And that is also the weekly candles low. So let's see if price wants to take out that low. Maybe we get a potential rejection to the upside off of the back of taking that low, or we seep lower into this weekly imbalancing in here. So those are the two options for the time being. So gold looks like a play for today. We may potentially just get a quick grab off of it, just a small lower time frame play for a pullback and then an entry to potentially catch some TPs. So we'll take a look at that closer to New York Open and potentially send out some fire in the chat. Next is GBP JPY, pound yen. So at the moment, we are reaching lower and lower. I was expecting this to breach the highs, but we're just continuing to accumulate those orders up above with price refusing to take out the high. Now, with the current price action, we are more likely to head back down to the 8-hour candle area. Now, look at that area for a potential long entry. Okay, so closer to the time, we're going to look at the area. I'm going to set alert for that low and also at the 8-hour candles entry and monitor that as when price gets there. So for the time being, I do believe that is all for today. We can come back to oil closer to 3 p.m. I don't have a setup for you guys just yet for oil. Just want the picture to, of course, accumulate and build for a little bit, and then we can come back to it at a later date. So if you guys have any suggestions of any pairs that you'd like me to, of course, break down and take a look at, feel free to leave that in the comment section, and I'll get to you guys soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Forever blessed. Peace.